The U.S. Mint just made a move that no one saw coming, and it's setting off a chain reaction that will change the silver market forever. Here's what happened. Yesterday, the Mint quietly stopped selling silver. No warning, no statement, just a sudden disappearance of the buy button. That's it. It's not a glitch. It's not a temporary pause. This is the start of something much bigger, something the mainstream media still isn't telling you. What does this mean for you? It means the system is starting to break, and if you wait for the headlines to catch up, you'll be too late. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll understand why the silver price you see today is a total illusion and why things are about to get a whole lot worse. You might be thinking, this can't be that big of a deal, right? After all, the price of silver has been climbing for months. But here's where things get really interesting. The U.S. Mint isn't the only one struggling. Private mints are already feeling the squeeze, and the panic is spreading fast. London is wobbling. In fact, there's a much bigger pattern here, and it's not about silver prices going up too fast. It's about supply. The silver market is running on fumes, and the cracks are starting to show. Have you noticed the silence from the media? Why aren't they talking about this? That's the real question. What's happening behind the scenes is bigger than you think, and right now it's moving faster than anyone can report. Stick around, because what's coming next could reshape everything you thought you knew about silver. You're probably still wondering, if silver prices are shooting up, why would the U.S. Mint stop selling? It sounds like a precautionary move, right? But here's the truth. It's not about high prices. The Mint stopped because there's simply no silver left to sell at those prices. The supply is gone. And that's where the entire market breaks down. Here's what you're not being told. The price of silver you see on your screen right now, the spot price, is a fantasy. You can't buy at that price. Not anymore. When the Mint stopped selling, they weren't just pausing sales. They were admitting that they can't source silver at the current paper price. That's the key point. Supply has run dry. And here's the kicker. Authorized dealers are already reporting premiums 1.5 times the spot price, if you can even find silver to buy. That's the real price. And it's about to get worse. This isn't just a minor hiccup. This is escalating fast. And if you think the U.S. Mint is the only one facing a shortage, think again. The private mints are already feeling the heat, and London is starting to show signs of cracking. This is where things get dangerously familiar. A crisis like this has happened before, but not with silver. The warning signs are eerily similar to the 2008 financial crash, when banks started scrambling for liquidity. What we're seeing now is the beginning of a supply squeeze, one that has the potential to change everything. And here's what's most terrifying. This isn't just a spike in prices. It's a sign that the system holding silver prices together is starting to fall apart. The market is no longer functioning as it should. The Mint's move is only the start. If this keeps up, we're not just looking at a silver shortage, we're staring at a full-blown collapse in the paper market. The evidence is piling up fast, and it's not pretty. While the spot price of silver sits at around $90, the reality on the ground is far more disturbing. Let's talk numbers. Premiums on physical silver have gone parabolic. Dealers are reporting prices as high as 1.5 times the spot price. That's $135 an ounce for silver that's supposed to be worth $90. But here's where it gets even worse. The U.S. Mint is no longer able to source the metal at that price. That's why they stopped selling, because they can't get it. Now, let's pause for a second and ask, what does this mean for the rest of the market? The Mint's halt is a sign that the paper price is no longer connected to reality. And when the physical price is this much higher than the paper price, that's a clear warning sign that the system is cracking. Now, things are happening fast. We're seeing more signs of instability every day. In fact, just this morning, another shocking development: 36 million ounces of silver are set for delivery this month alone, just on the COMEX. That's a massive number, and it's part of a larger pattern we're starting to see unfold. And it's not just that. The vaults are draining fast. And when you start seeing numbers like this, it's like a slow-motion bank run. The pressure is building, and it's starting to spread across the entire system. This isn't a normal supply crunch. This is a systemic breakdown. If these trends continue, it's only a matter of time before the system hits a breaking point. And when it does, everyone is going to rush for the exits at the same time. The real question is, will you be ready when it happens? Now, let's talk about you, the person on the other side of this screen. How does this all affect you in the real world? If you think this is just some financial game happening in the background, think again. Imagine walking into your local dealer to buy silver. You've seen the price on your screen, $90 an ounce, right? But when you ask to buy, they hit you with a premium that doubles the price. You're staring at $135 per ounce, and that's if you can even get it. Here's the harsh reality. This is what happens when the market flips. The everyday person ends up paying the price while the institutional players scramble behind the scenes. If this feels familiar, you're not alone. People are already getting priced out, and the window is closing fast. Don't wait for the news to break. Act now or risk getting stuck with nothing. This isn't just about silver. It's about how the entire system works and why it's all starting to fall apart. What's really at play here is leverage. The paper market has been running on borrowed time for years, using futures contracts and fractional reserve systems to keep things looking stable. But that stability was never real. It was built on a house of cards, and the reality of physical silver supply has finally caught up with the paper market. This is what happens when the system is stretched too thin. And here's the unsettling truth. This isn't a glitch. It's a mechanism built on fear and spectacle, designed to keep things looking normal while the real supply slowly drains away. But now, the system is starting to crack under the pressure. What happens next? We're about to find out. But the outcome might not be what you expect. So what happens next? We're at a crossroads, and there are two possible paths we're headed toward. The first is what I call the slow burn. The mint could come back online, silver prices might stabilize, and the market might grind on for a while. It could be a series of small, incremental moves with no major explosions, just a slow, painful realization that the supply issue is here to stay. The second path? A full-blown squeeze. If the delivery systems break down completely, we could see silver prices shoot up, possibly even double or triple in a matter of weeks. That's the danger of a physical shortage hitting the paper market. The prices could spiral out of control. The wild card? We're already seeing signs that the system is pushing toward that second path. But we don't know how quickly it will happen. What we do know is that the clock is ticking, and the pressure is only going to build. Here's the bottom line. The silver market is already on the edge of collapse. The U.S. Mint stopped selling, and the ripple effect is already being felt across the system. But here's the key insight. This is just the beginning. What's happening right now is a clear signal that the paper market is decoupling from reality. The question is, what will you do when the panic hits? If you're still waiting for the media to tell you what's happening, you're already too late. This is the moment to act. The silver squeeze isn't coming. It's already here. And the opportunity? It might not last much longer. If you want to stay ahead of the curve, make sure to follow, because this story isn't over. We'll be watching how it unfolds in real time, and I'll be here with updates as the next move begins to take shape. Thanks for watching, and don't say you weren't warned.